not just by me, but people who are at least as creepy as me. So.
Hello, internet.
Yeah, right.
Hello.
Okay. I got to pull up the filing from last night because I want to pull up the video and show it before we talk to you about what happened there. Give me 1 second. All right. I like that they're doing their own little videos now. Maybe they should have a TikTok channel.
Wait, who's doing videos?
Oh, this is from the thing from last night in the filing. We're gonna watch it again because Hellville was in there, and I couldn't hear some of what was being said in the video, so she was telling me.
Very good.
What was going on there? Okay, here we go. I found it. I'm not gonna play it just yet, but cool. All right, hey everybody. Hi, IB. How's it going? So we're gonna go through some stuff that came up today that was like poking holes in the logic with the judicial misconduct allegations and the request for a removal of judge. One of the things we went over last night was this video that was included in the filing. One of the people that was in that panel in the video is here to talk to us tonight, so we're gonna get into it. Well, I'll show that first and then we'll start talking about it, but hang on, give me 1 second to present it. Okay. I think everybody can see that, right? Okay, so there's Hellville right there. And do you want us to call you by your screen name, or what do you want us to call you?
Oh yeah, Hellville's good. I mean, my first name is Sarah, and I think that's what I come up as in YouTube usually,
Okay.
like in Dave's chat and everything. So
I just didn't know if that was a top secret thing. So
my last name is top secret, but my first name is well known.
Yes, yeah, I knew your first name. I don't know your last name, so it's very secret. All right, guys, let me play this.
Hopefully, I'm not wearing the same shirt. That would be embarrassing.
Dude,
looks different though.
Oh my god, It might be.
I cycle through like 5 different shirts, and that's it. So
I'm always
Looks
off
vaguely
camera,
different.
so I don't have to think about it.
I work from home during the week, and I have one polo from my an old job, and it was in a couple different colors. And so I put that on for our morning meeting because it's on Zoom. And then I take it off, and I wore it for like 15 minutes. So what am I going to do? So I wear the same fucking shirt every day for like a week. And I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, ew.
Maybe they're all too polite to say, ooh.
I hope so. All right.
I touched Mata's dad in the parking lot afterwards. And I asked him, like, well, what did you think? He was like, I got to show you something. So he whipped me papers in his hand. And did anybody, I haven't been online really today, but did anybody, I saw kind of briefly that it was denied, this request for findings of fact and conclusions of law and proposed findings. Did she deny?
Denied.
That was not denied. Okay. So anyway, did anybody get a copy of this? He was saying, Julie told me this is just, Dad, you got to read this, and printed out a copy for me.
It's up by Lauren and Company.
Yeah, Judge Mata's dad was in the court with us.
Judge Mata's dad
Was in the court with
No
in
way.
the side room where we were. Judge Mata's dad was sitting there.
She did fantastic.
I said, Harry, that's really nice. You want to be here to support your daughter? He said, oh, no, I've been hearing about this. I'm here for the circus.
Hold on, we don't need a mistrial.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could get him some scones.
Yeah, scones. We just heard.
Why did you hear about this case? My daughter.
There you go. Hey, that's
What an awful thing to say. Totally unethical. Oh, she's my daughter.
I'm sure he was. I mean, he was probably a judge. I feel like it runs in the family.
Sitting right next to him.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
He was like, real fraternity was trying to think of what he could say that wouldn't be like giving it away.
Sure,
Hey,
sure.
Bruce. I
So
see
that's
you.
me.
Judge Mata.
Just photobombing there.
Okay.
So
Was there,
I was talking about, like,
okay,
I
so
was
we don't
just
need
talking
to need to watch the rest, right? You were just talking about that part.
Yeah. So
Okay.
last night in your video, you said, "Oh, I can't even hear like what's being said."
Yeah, I couldn't.
But you said something about me, like, I might have been saying that I was sitting next to, you know, her dad or whatever the case may be. And obviously gangrene, whatever. Obviously he put that in there because he assumed incorrectly that I was talking about her dad. I was actually talking about someone that works at the courthouse. Like, I don't even know what relation this person necessarily has to Judge Mata. Might work with her, might just be a regular courthouse employee that's been seeing the ridiculosity that's been going on. But either way, like, he didn't tell me anything about, I asked many, many questions every which way to try to get something out of him about if he's spoken to Judge Mata on anything. And like, if anything, it just goes to show that like she's an utter professional. Like he wouldn't tell me anything. And I don't even know if she really told him anything for real. So.
Okay. So, I mean, it's good to hear from somebody else who was actually there because, you know, David wasn't. He wasn't there.
No,
so
he sure was not. Yeah.
I was right there with David and he lied about how many people were there. So
he lied?
He lied. Hundreds of people, folks. Hundreds of people.
Oh man, yeah, he put together a whole compilation. How much of it was actually like assumptions and how much was real?
Oh, a lot, I'm sure. And not even just assumptions, but like secondhand information at the best.
It's like tertiary information, really. Like
yeah,
a lot of it.
So for people who couldn't, like people like me who couldn't really hear what was being said, can you explain exactly what you were talking about, who you were talking about, just like lay it out for us, just so it's like really clear?
Yeah, so I was in the overflow room along with literally everybody else except for the media, the victims and their families. Yes, Laura, victims. And like a few other people that were further up than I was in the line that happened to have gotten in. There were like literally 3 or 4 people like that. It was not a lot of people. And you can even see from the videos of the court proceeding that like there really isn't anyone that we don't recognize or is related to someone that we recognize.
Yeah.
Like in the videos. So I don't know what they're talking about with the undercover cops, this, that, or the other, but in the overflow room, I was sat next to someone that I know from this group of people who
I think she just identified herself right there in the chat. So
oh, okay. I was next to Boots. And I was also with Kris Jenner. And there was another person sat next to me on the other side of Boots. And yeah, exactly. 1-to-1 is crap. Exactly. So like this gentleman, definitely not an undercover cop, by the way.
Yeah.
He is just an employee of the court. Again, I don't know what his relation is to Judge Mata. I don't know if he works for her, if he works for a different judge. He could just be someone that like is security. I really do not know, but he was young enough to be her son. So definitely not her father. And like I said, she didn't tell, at least from what he told me, she didn't tell him anything. He wouldn't tell me anything. So I have no idea. Maybe this whole case is just the talk of the courthouse.
I mean, I would assume so. I feel like working in the courthouse, as exciting as it could be, it would probably actually be really boring if you've been doing it for a long time,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just a lot of assumptions. And frankly, again, I think it just goes to show how professional she is, that even if maybe she has spoken to this person, I think Omar or Megan said in their live last night about how she would be within her rights to talk to her staff or something. And again, I don't even know if this person is her staff, but if that person is her staff, then she would have the right to talk about the case, not necessarily to base her judgment on what they say, but she would have the right to talk to them about it. And so it just goes to show how professional she is, that either she wasn't talking to anybody in the courthouse about it, or if she was, she's had them under very strict orders to not say anything to anybody else outside of the circle of trust, I guess we could call it.
Yeah.
Chambers is a better word, maybe.
Yeah. And so curious, the he had said, God, what was it that he said she had talked about? I'm trying to remember now.
The
I lost
Planned
my train of thought.
Parenthood.
Not that. Gosh, it was something else. He was like, somebody said this, and I was like, okay, well, that's not a big deal.
That her dad walked up with papers.
I don't know
or
if that.
something.
I lost my train of thought, which happens a lot, guys. I'm sorry.
I same ADD.
Anyways, yeah, no, dude, for real.
Yeah.
But if you noticed at all, like, was he talking to anyone else that you realized, or like, did you see papers? Like
The guy sitting next to me, I literally didn't even know that her dad was there until I was standing there watching, just like everybody else was, like on YouTube. I just happened to have a different spectator spot. Like, I literally didn't know until I was outside the courthouse that even he was in there.
Okay, I get it now. Yeah.
So I have no idea that her dad was in there. The only person I knew was in there for sure was security and a couple of court workers that were just interested in the case. And then like the guy that was right next to me that I was trying to juice for information.
Yeah. So I don't know about the undercover cop thing in the overflow room, but in the actual like proceeding room where that was happening, I think maybe there were some, but the security guards that were definitely in there were more than enough to control any outburst that, like fictitious outburst that Michael Maricini might have. And they were like, I'm pretty sure they were some of the people who like made noise when she said that thing about it not being a big deal for like Dr. Higley or whatever. What was it like being in the overflow room? Like, how were the reactions? Did anybody actually say anything, or was it super quiet? Like,
oh my God, no, we were all reacting. No one was screaming or anything, but we were all gasping right along with whoever the undercover cops were in the regular room. But literally all of us were just kind of like, the sound wasn't so great. So all of us were just trying to listen. So it was relatively quiet most of the time. Like, you could hear a pin drop. Boots is saying though that she recognized that there were a couple of undercover cops in the overflow room. She just recognized that they were carrying. So like, but I would say that for the most part, like, I recognized most of the people, if not from their face, then from their username. Like, like most of the people are in Dave's, Megan's chat, the Tilted Lawyer, like your chat, like most of the people I recognized in some way or another. And Reality Steve was out there with us. Courtney Robertson came in for a few minutes.
okay.
It was mostly people that we've recognized. So I don't know where the hell they got that ratio from, but I don't think it was 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. It was like, definitely way less than that, unless everyone that is part of this group of people is also an undercover cop.
Maybe the ratio at Dave's van was 1-to-1. Bruce, are you a narc?
No comment. But I mean, the SWAT team was there on the outside at least, and I'm not sure where they went while the hearing was going on.
I didn't see the SWAT team.
They were there, so we got there really early with the tech van, and they were just they sort of started setting up a few spots down from us, and I think once they saw who Dave and I were, like setting up cameras and all that, they moved further down away from us because I think they didn't want us to feel real creeped out or anything. I mean, I was like, who are these guys with the vests and the guns and dogs?
Oh,
and they patrolled around outside for a while before everybody lined up to go inside.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and so I was keeping my eye out on that. But I don't know where they went. I don't know where they went during the trial. Yeah. The only sort of undercover thing I saw was there was a guy that was with Laura's group that went in. And I guess someone told me that one extra guy who was not Medchill or Gingras sat near the jury box.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
I think that was probably her private security.
Okay.
That's what people are saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just some dude there. I was like, "Who's that?" I had no idea. I was like, "That's not like your boyfriend, is it?" Like, I don't know who that is.
No, but that's one guy.
He's too skinny for her. She likes
I don't
them
know.
big and broad and super tall. He was pretty tall, but he didn't fit the bill of the rest of the different parameters. So
Yeah.
And
yeah, I did not
whatever
want Dingus using
document,
my words wrong. So
well, whatever document they were talking about in the live stream that you just played, that was a public document that everybody had,
It was the
like from the
what was it?
website.
It was like right before the trial. They filed it like right before
Yeah.
the trial. I can't
Those
remember.
were publicly available documents, so anybody could print those out. It's not even.
Mhm.
It's not
I
like
would
some
imagine
secret information.
that like anyone in general, like who's kind of like in the area and involved in the legal profession or in courthouses in any way, like they might find this interesting. Like they might be following along, even if they don't work with MATA or even if they don't even work in the same like municipality, like maybe neighboring counties, even like, you know, like it is not illegal to have interest in a weird ass case. Sorry, but that is what it is. It's weird. It's wild. It's crazy. It's never ending. It's dramatic for no
Also,
reason.
like The Bachelor still does, like, even though like a lot of us don't watch The Bachelor consistently anymore, The Bachelor is still a popular show.
Yes.
And Trevor Bauer has a lot of followers. So, or not Trevor Bauer, Charlie Kirk. Sorry, I always get those two guys confused, and I'm not going to comment on like why that's funny. But,
Well, locally, right? The June 10th date was known and published in the newspaper by Jimmy Jenkins from the status conference.
Mhm.
So it's not like this was some sort of secret date or time or like this was in the newspaper.
I would also like to point out that there were not hundreds of us in the parking lot or in the courtroom or overflow room. Like there were, I would say maybe dozens, not hundreds.
Would you say like 35 people were in the overflow room or what?
Yeah, I would say that's a good estimate. I'm actually really bad with estimating numbers in general, so I won't do that exactly, but yeah.
That's what I've heard from other people.
Probably,
something around 30, 35.
Yeah, I would say maybe at the very most up to maybe 45, 50. Like, but I don't even think it was that high, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, it was not quite.
Yeah, Boots is saying around 30. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I'm not the right one to ask about numbers. So
okay. Because there's dozens and hundreds. Like if you have 30 people over there, and like you said, a couple of them they're not with, the crew from Dave and Megan.
The JFC crew.
And then you had 4 more JFC crew in the courtroom. So that's like 35 people maybe at most.
There were at least, I would
100.
say like 7 or so court employees in the room.
Wow.
There were like 2 or 3 guys standing up front, 1 lady standing up front, like kind of where the security, they were also trying to make sure that we could see and hear everything. So they were kind of the AV and also probably cops or whatever they are. So really, it was at least 5 less than whatever they said. And then there was, of course, the guy that was sitting next to me that works at the court in some capacity. And so that's 1 more less than whoever would be involved in the JFC crew. I mean, maybe he's one of us, who knows? But yeah, I thought we were going to be called the Children of the Scone.
Yeah.
Dave said the Children of the Scone was a better cult name.
Children of the Scone. Oh my God.
I can't take credit for that. That was a Dave thing.
I gotcha. No, he's fine.
I mean, we would have given a scone to anyone, yeah.
I'm sure if they went up and asked for a scone, he would have given them one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Laura could have had a scone. I mean,
did you guys have scones?
Oh yeah, there were scones. There was all kinds of food.
Oh, I missed the scones. I saw the whole rest of the catering van. That was great, and the blow pops were particularly fantastic.
Yeah, we had leftover scones the next day. Yeah.
Oh man, awesome. Yeah, I saw the breadsticks too. That was hilarious.
Yeah. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull something else up. This came to me today from somebody on Twitter. Let me just pull this up real quick. So last night I was rambling is more accurate, about how I felt like the judge, possibly might have made a mistake in her sourcing, like to who, or who said that or where she got this information about Planned Parenthood being closed on Sunday. But I said, like maybe it was in tweets or like responses to tweets from Gingras, which might have made it into an exhibit. And of course, I still can't say for sure, but people were concerned saying like we didn't hear LA, so no one was saying Planned Parenthood was closed, in anything that would have made it into filings before the trial. But somebody sent me proof that it was actually in responses to his tweets a month before the trial. So let me
maybe it didn't come from Dr. Dean's, which is what technically Mata said in her but to be fair, it's really hard to remember who you heard what from. Like you heard me say at the beginning of the stream, I don't really know who said it, whether it was Omar or Megan, blah, 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 whatever. But, there's like hundreds of, well, actually probably more than that, thousands of pages of documents. And then there's also like hundreds of hours, possibly even into the thousands of hours, if you consider all the different content creators, and then the millions of tweets that Dingus sent out and then deleted and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In the blog posts. So, I mean, how could anyone remember where they saw that from? So she might have just misstated where she saw it, but
well, didn't David himself complain about how long Woodnick's filings were and B how much stuff was in the exhibits? Like he was complaining, he was like, look how much stuff they have to put in here. Like it's so much stuff. Like, oh, that's suddenly it's a bad thing to be like long-winded. Like he's not long-winded.
I love how he said, I'm a master of simplicity or whatever he said in the hearing. And then I was like, and then you make the most rambling, repetitive, ridiculous speech that I've ever heard that took 15 minutes. And then Greg Woodnick took you down in like 4 words.
Yeah.
That was great.
His time management was not good. So where is Costa Mesa?
That is in.
I need a map.
Isn't that in Arizona? It's in Arizona, right? Hold on. Let's confirm though. No, it's in California. Okay.
Which county is it in?
Costa Mesa is in Orange. Okay, let's read this screenshot, which is what I sent you today. Which Planned Parenthood was this allegedly taken at? Because the one in Costa Mesa that she didn't attend. So they're saying that she didn't attend that one. Isn't open on the weekends, and her appointment that was on a Sunday, 7-2 is on a Sunday. So I think they're just speaking from experience, like what they know, which is the Costa Mesa location, or like what they looked up, which would have been that location. I don't think they're saying she went there. You know what I mean? But they're just saying speculating, hey, by the way, Planned Parenthood is not open on a Sunday. So this was a response to his tweet. And his, unfortunately, hang on, I'll share this tab too.
Yeah. Because I think there is a tweet post June 10th where somebody talks about LA not being open on Sunday.
Oh yeah, loads of those, but
probably all over the place.
Yeah.
But there was also the other point that I think I was messaging you about earlier, Lauren, is that even if the location that she was talking about prior to trial might have been open on Sundays, it doesn't mean that they provided that particular service on Sundays. You need a particular type of technician in order to perform an ultrasound or a sonogram. Right. So they might be open, but maybe that's to dole out birth control, not to do ultrasounds. So, I mean, the whole argument is just, typical Dingus, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, so this was in response to some of his tweets. His tweets, though, the problem is some of them have been deleted, so we can't even look up some of this stuff. I'm sure people have kept records of them, but these were his tweets that people responded to, and they were saying stuff which was this taken at because it's not open at the weekends. So that it could have come from there. Yeah, and so maybe that's not what happened, but I think it's important, just given the speculation that they're making, to beg the question. So I thought that was a good thing to point out. And then let me see. I'll pull up. What was it that came up at BSP today?
Yeah, I think we would have to start looking through filings prior to the hearing.
Yeah.
To see if any of these tweets made it in there.
We can't see the exhibits. So.
I mean, but that's what I was saying earlier too. Yeah. Is that we didn't find out until the hearing itself that she went to LA, which of course she didn't, because she has never been to a Planned Parenthood in her life. But in any event, So we didn't know that. So in order for the judge to not get in trouble here, it would have to be in a filing prior to that date, not about LA, but about the other locations.
Mhm.
So yeah, it would have to be before the court date for sure.
Right. Okay, so this is what came up on Reddit today about the Bruce, do you want to talk about that since you mentioned it to me?
Yeah, so I guess we could look at the actual document, but this
I
just
don't have them
says,
up, but if you have them.
I don't think I do. In Dr. Dean's expert report attached to the, yeah. So you basically have to go to Padlet and find the right date and get this response to respondent's amended motion for relief based on fraud.
Mhm.
And then in there, they include at least a portion of Dr. Dean's expert report. And this is all before June 10th. But of course, Dr. Dean's report would have gone to the judge anyway, so that's fine. But they say I don't know what a beg doc number is.
Mhm.
Is that like a legal term? The beg doc number jumps from CE 0473 to CE 0524. I don't know if these numbers are sequential.
That's what
If
that's what I
Yeah.
gathered
Those are
from that. I
case
assumed.
numbers. I
Yeah.
wonder.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like
I mean,
legal
this
page
isn't-
numbers.
This isn't the court case number because that's a much bigger number.
No, yeah.
But these must be some numbers referencing like court exhibit numbers, for example.
Oh.
And then after this, I think it's supposed to be after the CV or after her
Mhm.
resume, because she starts
Yep.
with her resume and then provides her assessment of the information she received. So if these numbers, yeah, Big Tiff Dog is saying they're numbered sequentially. We're missing a whole bunch of numbers here, which means that it's possible that this expert report that is in this motion that we can see as the public is missing a section
Mhm.
that perhaps the judge has. And if that section includes a bunch of information about Planned Parenthood in general or in California, because supposedly she went to California, there could be information in there about Planned Parenthoods being closed on certain Sundays or something like that, in which case it would be Dr. Dean testifying about this information as part of her expert report. It just wouldn't be part of the expert report that we as the public saw
Yep.
or that was verbally relayed in the court hearing.
Yeah. that
And
makes
don't
sense.
forget, Greg Woodnick called out Dingus for posting, like right at the beginning of her testimony. Oh, did you know that your expert report was posted online? And she said she had no idea, but he might have well cut out a giant chunk of that. And I think that's the only
Correct.
piece that we as the public have access to would be what he posted. So that would only be
Right.
posted to suit their story, which is ever changing, obviously.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the
So-
same thing happened with Clayton's deposition, right? Because Gingras posted a piece
Oh, yeah.
of Clayton's deposition on YouTube.
So did
presumably-
Laura. Laura posted
Well-
another piece of it.
Whichever one of them did it. One of them put a piece of his deposition on YouTube. And then, but it wasn't the entire deposition. So they did the same exact thing here in this response for relief based on fraud. They put a piece of the expert report. So we do not have the full expert report, I think.
They're cherry picking
So
everything.
this is a good point.
Didn't they say in the status conference that like when she was trying to get everything sealed, like anything that was like super like it really should be sealed. You know what I mean? Like the public shouldn't have access to this. It's very like private. She should have a right to privacy. Like anything like that would not be made public.
Yeah, she said if there was an item that needed to be redacted or made confidential or witnesses where their face need to be blurred out.
So I wonder if like
They said
maybe yeah, I wonder if there was some weird like thing in there that was like you're not supposed to see this. You know what I mean? This is not supposed to be public.
At the same time, they
Maybe, but-
like Dr. Deans would have had to actually receive any real medical records in order for there to be something for the public to not see. But since this woman
What
has
real
produced
medical
no
records?
medical records, exactly.
Yeah,
So
but at that time also like she hadn't signed the release. Like she signed the release on that day, and so like I guess at that time maybe they could have thought her records were plausible. I don't know. So
but in any case, though, there would be no actual information to redact because they didn't yet receive the actual information.
Mhm.
So how could they redact stuff, you know, if it doesn't exist?
Yeah, I think there was just a lot of exhibits that were not part of the docket record, but were part of, the pretrial statement exhibits that we did not see publicly, including these pages between 473 and 521.
Yeah, I think that there are just pieces that they cherry picked out, which probably does have the information like, well, most Planned Parenthoods in this area are not open. It might even be a statewide thing. Maybe all ultrasound technicians in the state of California don't work on Sundays. Who knows?
Yeah, because I think they were looking at dates like July 2nd through July 7th, right? Which is right around the 4th of July holiday. So it's possible there was some discussion about holiday hours. I don't know.
The person who tweeted me earlier, the one that I showed you guys, just messaged me again, said, "Hey, just watching your stream. My replies to Gingras in those tweets were mainly referring to the Costa Mesa Planned Parenthood being closed on Sundays. The Costa Mesa location was the visit that she doctored and sent to Clayton's parents in an email, as you do." And then this, hold on, let's. It's not obviously not
as you do, like everyone does this.
So this is what she sent, and it was on 6/25, a Sunday. So there was reason for people to be talking about this before the trial. And I didn't even catch that. So this is like something that would have come up, and if it came up, then it was probably all over social media. And because Gingras is, sparking things on social media and trying to rile people up, it probably did end up somewhere in the filings.
I think that Laura doesn't understand how pregnancy works, but also doesn't seem to understand how dates work, where if you're picking a Sunday to lie about, and then you pick a week later, it's still a Sunday. Like 7 days is 7 days, babe. It's still going to be a Sunday when they're closed. So.
I don't think she knows that they're not open on Sundays because she's never been.
Right, because she's never been pregnant. Exactly.
Or never been to Planned Parenthood in general. But
that too.
I don't know. Maybe she did go to the parking lot or something one time. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Asking where her other ovary is, or
oh my gosh. Okay, let me pull this out. Okay. There was something else I saw on here I wanted to touch on real quick before we move on to something else. I can't remember. It was on Reddit, and it was something about a federal ruling, basically saying that judges can Google stuff. I think if it was inconsequential. Let me see it. I'm gonna search the Reddit thread real quick.
Yeah, I think it was something about it if it's not 100% pertinent to the main decision, and then also something that would be general knowledge, easy information.
Okay, I found a link here. Hang on. Okay, so this is what somebody shared today on Reddit, and then other people had said kind of stuff along the same lines, but they had not cited their sources. So this is from 2010, but it's talking about how a judge can use Google to confirm their intuition. So it's not looking up everything about the person or something like that, but if they have a hunch, they're like, hey, I think I remember Planned Parenthood was not open on the weekends. I don't know, maybe she tried to go to Planned Parenthood on a weekend, maybe her daughter or somebody, I don't know if she has kids, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? Maybe her friend or tried to go on a weekend or something. I don't know. There's a million reasons why she could have that hunch.
Well, she could also know, based on the previous filings that we were just talking about, that on 6/25, that was a Sunday, and then maybe she knows how days work. Whereas she would know that on the 2nd, that would be 7 days later, would still be a Sunday. So she had the hunch that it would be closed on that day.
It's also totally plausible that, given she's been in the legal field for a long time, maybe she's seen a case where somebody lied about going to Planned Parenthood before, and the other person pointed out, hey, they're not open on Sundays.
That is also plausible. Yeah. But also now, the thing is, he might have a point if that was the only reason that she made her decision the way she did, but it's
Right.
not. She gave like 45 other reasons besides just that
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood is not closed or is not open on Sundays. Like she gave so many other reasons. So like his whole argument, it doesn't hold water, as our cousin Vinny would say.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so we're done with that. Hang on, let me close it.
Yeah. I think the fundamental problem is she attributed this information to Dr. Deans.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think as long as that's cleared up, like, then I would be satisfied.
Unless like it was in those possible missing, pages that we can't see, then yeah.
I mean, that would be an explanation that would
Yeah,
satisfy me.
But I
Or
mean, even
maybe
if she
Rule
just messed up.
26 is like, resumed. Maybe
Rule 26 says your
I
testimony doesn't count unless you delivered 20,000 babies or
I
whatever.
think at this point, anybody mentioning Rule 26 should get 10 demerits or something. I don't know.
10 Flames of Hellville.
Yeah,
Go to Professor Umbridge.
Oh my God.
that's right.
I will no longer use the words Rule 26, and you have to write it on, until
Not going to talk about Rule 26 anymore.
we got to get Dingus that pen.
Right.
You gotta write it at least 26,000 times.
Yeah. Yes.
Hold on, let me
I
get through
love
these super chats and then we'll move on to something else. Karen Carson, thank you for the 5. A program of the show would have been fun to hand out right before trial started. I think it was a little it could have been kind of unpredictable, so that would be funny though. Hear me out. Thank you for the 5. Hero. I already knew he was going to cite PP as closed once he said proof judge researched, but I will love watching her lose again. Yeah.
I just don't want them. I don't want any of the victims, including Clayton, to have to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, people don't really talk about this. Like, hey, Boots.
Hear me out. I was
Hello.
Very good.
here. Thank you. Hear me out for the 5 in the shoe.
Dave has been clear that, there are other victims besides just the ones that we are generally talking about, but I think that a couple of victims that really never get mentioned, well, a few actually, would be Greg Woodnick was accused of horrific things as well. Dave Neal himself obviously has been victimized by this psycho. Sorry, not psycho, just she's within her right mind. She's just evil. Demon. She's a demon.
Guys, real quick, while we have Boots here, I mean, continue your thought by all means, but just give me 1 sec. I gotta get some more water. I ran out, so I'm gonna be an avatar for a second, and then I'll let you guys keep talking, and Boots can share some of her story as well. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Who else was of it? Oh, Liz Neptune as well. So, and I mean, I guess technically Meg from Meg's Crime Watch, but she just joked it off. So
there's so many victims. The fact that they're trying to find out the identities of people in the crew, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, that's why my last name is a super secret identity.
Yeah, I know. But it's just, so I did get it verified. I was right on the undercover cops that it was 2.
Mm-hmm.
I always know to look for a concealed weapon. And as Bruce and Hellville know, we all had to go through a metal detector. Nobody's walking in there with a gun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they have credentials. So I always look for waistband carry or ankle carry. So anyone that was wearing pants immediately had my attention. Because most of us were not wearing pants there.
So Bruce had your attention as well?
Oh, yes. I figured he was carrying about 5 weapons.
What?
You had the jacket, too.
Carrying 5 scones. I don't know about that. Wow.
Carrying or 8?
Maybe both. Hang on,
I never even got to a scone because it was I arrived and then we were all lined up.
Oh, yeah.
And then Hellville and I think we spent a total of an hour just standing in lines
Oh yeah.
trying to get into the courtroom.
And we
And then,
were
of
pretty
course-
close up to the front too, and we
Yeah,
still
it
didn't
took
get
a
in.
while to get everybody through the. Yeah.
Yeah,
metal.
we were numbers 5 and 6 in the line, and
Oh,
everyone
wow.
in front of us got in.
Oh yeah.
It was so obnoxious. And then to see all the space.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it
what
was
Megan's
cool,
box
too.
was saying. There were several rows in the actual courtroom that were, no one was sitting there because they reached their numeric limit. So this idea that the courtroom was packed, is just not sort of physically correct.
Well, and frankly, I think they normally can fit more. I think they didn't want to. I think they
Yeah.
wanted to keep it a certain number and a certain crowd
Yeah,
just for the control aspect.
that
But
makes
this
sense.
this whole that there was one undercover cop per one audience member in overflow, complete garbage.
Who
Just-
said that? I don't remember.
That's
that come
what was reported to Megan Fox, and that's what she said on the stream. And
Oh.
there's just no way, because Hellville was asking everyone
I
their
see.
name.
Just a
She's
like,
random
"What?"
person, just a random attendee told Megan that.
I don't know where Megan got that.
Okay.
There's
Because she
just
wasn't in the overflow room either. So
yeah,
That's true.
she never appeared in the overflow room.
Correct.
Our notable audience member was Steve, Reality Steve. But,
he caused a flurry.
Yes, he did, and he came in late. It was just.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think we were right around 30, 35 people, and it was predominantly female. There was a total of 5 males. It's you had Steve, you had the attorney from Woodnick that didn't even go in the room,
Mhm.
the one that helped with the with Greg Gillespie's cases. He was there.
Oh, okay.
So he was with us. I forget his name. And there's just no way. And then there was the 2 or 3 guys at the desk who were, court employees. And then, of course, what's his name? The head of court security. He came in for a while.
Mhm.
Was just hey, how's everyone doing?
The
Yeah,
sergeant.
he was so nice.
Oh, I will say, Bruce, I
Mhm.
sang in the overflow room when she mentioned that
It was a minor thing, and we
a
started
minor thing,
singing minor
and I
perjury.
started right in the song, and
Oh.
everyone joined me.
It was pretty epic that moment. You couldn't do that in the courtroom. Greg Woodnick would have been up in arms for sure.
Well,
And-
I watched that and I was in shock because I'm like, no, it's not a minor thing. You said one thing and now you're saying another thing. So you were just completely wrong. I was just sort of blown away by just the lie.
Well,
I
it's
couldn't
only
even
minor.
I couldn't even see the
because-
humor in it. So
Like-
I don't even know who, I think when you're saying the security guards laughed, that makes sense to me because my mind was just outraged.
Well, they also don't necessarily know the whole story like we
Yeah,
do. We've been
exactly.
really into it this whole time.
Yeah.
They were probably just so surprised by the whole thing. It is a shit show. That is the right word to describe it, Megan Fox. Unfortunately, it's just not Mata's dad that said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely, I think we all gasped simultaneously. And then, yeah, we did start singing minor perjury.
Mhm.
And the changing the Planned Parenthood location was another time that the whole overflow was what? And then everyone's has she mentioned LA? Has she, we're all asking each other
Oh,
to
yeah.
verify that we didn't miss a major point.
Guys, I can't
yeah.
take credit for this, but I just saw someone in the comments said that's a fabulous catch on the Bates numbers. They're basically page numbers that get stamped on every doc that gets produced the
Bates
other side.
numbers. Okay.
So
that's
CE equals CE's doc production. So something that
clear.
they
good. Okay.
put in there. Yeah.
That's great. It's good to know.
Oh, it is clicking.
Mm-hmm. So besides singing minor perjury, and I obviously missed some of this conversation because I was going to get water. Was there anything like substantial that happened in there that Boots talked about while I was downstairs?
Well, we also couldn't really hear Deandra really well. But I will say it seems like maybe they enhanced the audio on Schnitzel's.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
that audio was much better.
The audio is much better on.
Yeah. Because the live feed, was much lower quality. So they definitely did some. Don't die, Lauren. They did some.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like,
they did some kind of post.
If I die drinking water, I'll be so mad, dude.
Oh my god.
But
All right, I'm good.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if we can get more of the exhibits somehow. I don't know how to do that, but.
I mean, I tried. I reached out to them. It was at least a few weeks ago, and
I feel like
requested
Greg
but
Wood needs to release it. Like
he's too professional. He's not going to do that.
Well, I mean, if he has something that refutes this filing, I guess he has time to file something, or I guess it would be up to the judge, I suppose.
Karen Carson, thank you for the 20. I wanted her to be more admonished when she tried to tell Judge Amata she was not going to continue if the crowd was going to laugh. Yet she continues with minor perjury out of court, and we continue to laugh. Yeah, that's true. Thank you for the 20. That's very generous. I appreciate it. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. So
I wanted her to be held in contempt, honestly. Like, I'm serious. Like, I think Judge Mata was a little too nice, but I think that she was also being too nice on purpose to kind of be like, I am not taking sides here. I'm going to be as fair as possible because I know that you are going to say some shit later on.
Well, she knew this was going to get appealed. He was saying it was going to get appealed. Yeah. They had a court reporter there. So she's like, I might as well be as nice as I can to this person because it's just going to look better in an appellate situation that the judge was actually quite forgiving and kind with her thing. I was surprised to learn later that she, according to Mata's, findings, that she actually pushed her chair back. I could not tell that from any of the videos that she's like, I just can't. And
yeah, she did. She did move herself back. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I couldn't tell that. And of course, in the overflow, we could not see the baseball hand signals. I mean, we could tell by Deandra's reaction and when she said something was going on, but I could not see it at all.
Megan actually texted me during the hearing because she was like, Twittering or whatever live. And so she was like, hey, can you move the angle so we can see these hand signals or make sure you're getting it? And I would not have noticed because we were having so much trouble with the card in the cameras. Cause so poor Scott, had to do so much work because I didn't know what to tell him about what to expect. And neither one of us was prepared. I have little to no knowledge of this stuff that we're supposed to do with the cameras and stuff like that. So he would get the card would run out and you guys would see on the screen, the card is full or whatever. I'm sure you remember that. And so Scott would try to change the card, but when they were talking, it was you don't want to disrupt obviously the hearing. What happens if we make noise and everybody looks at us and they're like, you can't film anymore. You got to stop. And I don't know. That was what was going through my brain at the moment.
Oh, for sure.
And so Scott picks up his bag and he's trying to get the fresh card out and he has to unvelcro something. And so he's doing it so carefully and so quietly.
Super slow.
And it's the most I don't know. It's like dropping M&Ms during a silent moment of the symphony or whatever.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? It was so crazy. So finally he just compromised to delete what was on the card. And it would start fresh. But so I was so focused on that, I didn't notice the hand signals at first until Megan texted. So, yeah.
Well, in the overflow room, we could only see when someone was being audible. So, it would, you can see from
a Zoom call,
more recent footage. Yeah, it was
the court video. Yeah.
It was just flashing back and forth between whoever was being audible at any given time, which I wish that it was more stationary. I would have rather had 4 squares or whatever, rectangles.
Well, and that's normally how Maricopa County records, is you have a square on the judge, you have a square on the witness stand, and then you have a square on, petitioner and a square on respondent. So the format that we saw in Overflow surprised me because, like, look back at the status conference. That's the
Yeah.
format it usually is. I've gotten videos from Maricopa Court before. This is the first time I've seen it like that.
Mhm.
And
I wonder why.
I don't know, but the audience also has to remember they don't normally live stream outside of the people involved in the court hearing.
People don't
family
live
court
stream.
cases.
People don't live stream paternity disputes. Is that not a thing?
Not family
Well,
court. I mean,
fam-
I was being
Family
totally
court, there's
sarcastic.
usually a lot of kids
Yeah.
and all that involved. So
I was
well, kids.
100% kidding. I understand that, guys.
I get it. I get it, Lauren.
All right.
Well, and there's also financial information that's mentioned. So between those two aspects, because I did ask the court and they said they never release to the general public a live stream link on family court cases. Like that never happens. There could be on civil court, there certainly are on criminal court and things like that. But what can I say? Maricopa County court systems in 1990, as far as technology goes, document getting all that stuff.
Maybe some of the cops that are in there have body cam footage that like caught the signaling like for the whole time. I'm not even kidding, Bruce. You're laughing at me.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, watching in the footage when the cops would giggle that were in the courtroom was the most.
Yeah.
They're like, we have no idea what's going on here, but this is some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is kind of how we all kind of like came into this, right? At some point, they just came into it way later than we did.
Well, and I jokingly said in the chat, like the people that were in the overflow room that weren't part of the crew, as I like to call us, I think they kind of were at the end of the trial when they saw stuff.
They literally saw her perjure herself on multiple occasions. I really would like to get a lie counter, like where there's literally a number on the screen that just, does split screen and it counts how many times she refutes herself in her own testimony and cross-examination.
Paging Central Ninja, we got a video idea for you.
Yeah, right.
Well, there's that YouTube channel, What, and they have like the top 4. Like they have 4 really good clips where they take like the OOP hearing and they intermix it with the June 10th hearing or whatever. And they literally show the back-to-back contradictions.
That's creative.
Yes.
I like that.
Ooh,
I need to watch that. Yeah.
It's the What channel or something.
I have it saved and I just haven't had time to watch it yet.
It's very good because
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, they're just short little
Right.
things. But
Having the babies?
Because we watched those original things months ago. And then we remember, oh, I think this is a lie. But when you see them right next to each other at the same time, it's like, wow.
Okay, so am I the only one that's watched these hearings like 6-7 times, just over and over again, just to see if I can catch more stuff?
No, I've watched it from every single content creator too. Like every single one of y'all. Like I've been watching all of them. But also
I'm not even counting that. I'm just counting watching just the straight footage.
You do catch different things, like the court video, watching that versus the June 10th video. Like you do pick up different things. It's very interesting.
Exactly, you do. It's the same thing when you like reread your favorite book, like for the 100th time. Like you still pick up new things, but also like
what is the book? What to expect when you're expecting?
Maybe not that one. in the overflow room though, when Greg Woodnick said when he read the title of the email, having the babies. If I don't hear back from you tonight, I literally was like, whoa, I couldn't even help it. It was great.
You and I had too much fun.
Quick question for Boots. Since we already, the three of us were here a little bit earlier than you were. Did you at any point, or actually, you know what, both of you, how early did you get there to the scene, to the scene of the crime? No, to the courthouse. How early were you guys?
I was about 7:20.
Okay, so that's what, 40 minutes before?
Yeah, well, that'd be 40 minutes before the court opened.
Uh-huh.
And then I think they allowed us to line up at 8:15 outside of the courtroom.
That's what I was about to ask you. So did you at any point when you were standing there waiting for them to allow you to line up think there are hundreds of people here?
No.
Yeah. If you had to estimate, how many people do you think were there?
Thousands.
Fuck off.
Well, let's see. Are we counting the City of Phoenix police?
No.
Or are we just counting like attorneys, witnesses, families
just us, just the invalids.
The invalids, I would say 45.
Yeah, I was gonna say around 50 maybe. So like dozens would not have been incorrect, but hundreds? Really? Was he talking about like general public service employees? Like what is he talking about?
Probably everyone's there to see him. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He's a narcissist.
In Hellville, my favorite part was after they came in and they're waiting for the police are coming in to respond to the call. Mm-hmm. The conference room that she went in.
You mean
tell them what that room? It was the mother's room.
They led her into the mother's room. She will never be a mother. That is the best thing. She has pretended to be a mother like 1,000 times. I'm exaggerating, a la Dingus. And like literally is led into the mother's room. Que convenient, no?
Look, man, never say never. Never say never. She's only in her early 30s, so.
Well, if she goes to prison soon, then maybe she'll be in her late 30s, you know.
Weird stuff happens in prison, man.
With one ovary.
I just found the whole thing bizarre that that's where she was, and I was never so tempted to take a picture in that courtroom in my life as I was at that moment.
Well, before they came in, what did I say to you? I was like, oh, that's so weird. Right across from the courtroom is literally a mother's room. That's so funny. Like, Laura will never go in there. And then they brought her right in there. And I was just like, what on the planet?
It's so fitting for everything that's gone on with this whole situation in this case. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around a 211-page filing. Oh.
He likes to keep it short and sweet. What can I say?
Oh, the trees that are dying. The Phoenix trees. We need all the trees. Stop killing our trees, Dingus.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this real quick. Because I haven't read it yet. The application for attorney's fees or whatever. Here we go. So, I didn't even see this until like an hour ago.
Oh, it finally posted?
Yeah, it was in the Discord.
Sweet.
Yeah. So this is just the application for like what his fees and costs were and stuff like that, and then it breaks it down. So I'm not gonna like read all of this stuff up front because we have one more thing that I want to talk about. But here it's further ordered: Laura Owens shall pay Clayton Echard's reasonable attorney fees and cost not later than July 8th. Responded. Oh wait, she should pay it not later than July 8th.
No, they're saying the filing for the fees and costs.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That makes way more sense. I was just like, oh, I see. There's a comma here. Okay, respondent and counsel for Clayton Echard shall submit all necessary and appropriate documentation to support an application for an award of attorney's fees and costs, including a China doll affidavit and a form of proposed order. Okay, so by no later than July 29th, Laura Owens shall file any written objection and a form of proposed order. If Clayton Echard's
I predict an objection. Just saying.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, okay. So here we got that. I'm just skimming this, guys. Fee agreements. Okay. Exhibit A, and then this is a China doll affidavit for attorney's fees and costs. Okay. Greg Woodnick, being first duly sworn upon oath, deposes and states as follows: that I am the managing attorney at Woodnick Law, and together with Deandra Arena and Isabel Ronnie. Is it Ronnie or Rainey?
Rainey.
Isabel Rainey.
Yeah, Rainey.
I don't want to get it wrong. We are the attorneys of record for respondent. Okay. And then there's Clayton's thing. Okay. That annex as Exhibit B is the fee agreement entered into by Clayton Echard with the firm Woodnick Law. That my, Greg Woodnick's billing rate for this matter is $650 per hour. Deandra Arena's billable rate is $425 per hour. She should raise her rate.
Agreed.
Not that that's not like a good pay, you know what I mean? But she's just like so sharp, man. I can't. I'm a fan.
Oh, me too. Definitely fan.
Attorney Marcus Risinger's billing rate is $425 per hour. Attorney Isabel Rainey's billable rate is $295 per hour. Okay, there's multiple paralegals. Let's see.
Okay, I think Marcus was the attorney that was in the overflow room.
Probably, yeah.
There we go.
I was gonna say.
Total funds that have been expended on this litigation are over $165,000. However, fees that were related to litigation of respondents' injunction against harassment have been excluded, as the court expressly denied attorneys' fees and costs related to that matter. So it's higher than what we're seeing here. It's just they don't include the IAH stuff. Okay. That the court should note that early in the litigation that Mr. Echard received assistance from GoFundMe. These limited funds were appreciated by Echard, but only covered some of the expenses and costs related to Mr. Echard's injunction action, which has been expressly excluded from this accounting. The GoFundMe proceeds did not contribute to Mr. Echard's legal fees paid, incurred, or actually due and owing in this matter. That makes sense to me. So, like I said, I hadn't read this before, and I was like, that number honestly sounded a little low to me, the 165 or whatever.
It sounded really low to me too, but if you look at the way that it's billing out, so Isabel did most of the motions and stuff.
Okay.
So, like, it makes sense that it's a little bit lower than we would expect because you didn't get, like, Woodnick on, like, you know, he was just proofreading, I think, and then making small adjustments, not, like, writing it all.
Motion for Isabel to raise her rate.
Yes, that too.
Really should.
Yeah, give Isabel a raise.
And by the way, she's the one that was adding in the color. And I love her so much, and I want to be her best friend. So,
Right.
All right, let's see. So here's attorney's fees, $148,000, and then we got taxes and stuff like that. Let's look at the breakdown though. Okay, here's the retainer agreement. All right. Okay. Call with Clayton to discuss next steps and a review of his draft motion. It's the same. That was the first thing that they billed for. I'm going to skip over some of this. We're just going to talk about the stuff that sticks out. So if I miss something and you guys want to point it out, call to Brett from Ravgen. That sucks. It sucks that you would have to pay for that. You know what I mean?
poor Brett, man.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder what the bill would look like if Clayton was just paying the fees. I'm curious if they would have given Clayton more grace in the bill if he was being stuck with it.
I mean, they have no reason, I guess, to lie at this moment, so maybe they would have changed like something afterwards, try to work something out with him, but I don't know.
I think they would have given him a little bit of a break just because why wouldn't you want to give him a break after all of this? Holy cow.
Well, I also think that like Woodnick probably had like a particular fire lit under his ass to like help Clayton out, even if it meant taking less money ultimately. But, you know, it's fair, like for a case that was brought completely fraudulently to be paid for by the person who brought it.
I think his break was probably not having to pay as they go. Like when I had a lawyer, I had to have a retainer set so that they always had a fund of cash, and they just drew down whenever they did something. And then when it got to a point, they would tell me to fill it back up. And I feel like in this case, they probably just told him, you know, don't worry about filling the retainer back up.
We're going to make her pay for the whole thing. We're going to sell her horses.
I had a lawsuit that was taken on contingency. So like I didn't have to pay anything up front or throughout, but well, A, I'm pretty sure if I didn't keep reminding her to do stuff that it never would have gotten done. And B, like, so therefore they're not working like on my behalf, like after hours or whatever. But B, like it was a huge chunk of money of my winnings in the end. So that was unfortunate to watch fly away.
Yeah. What was that? 30, 40%?
40. Yeah. Employment law, man.
Kelly Mendoza. Who's Kelly Mendoza?
That was another attorney she apparently had.
What?
How many are we up to? Can someone please count how many attorneys?
Who the fuck is Kelly Mendoza?
I'm just bummed that this means Dingus is at number 13.
That was right
would
before
make it
Corey
14.
Keith. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm guessing a lot of the more interesting stuff is going to be after Corey withdrew, so I'm just going to skip a little bit down to there.
Yeah, you're looking at around like the 21st, 25th of March. That's when we got graced with the dingus.
God damn it.
Also, he said in his stupid motion that Clayton didn't retain counsel until December 14th or something like that. Dude, you see in the November 2nd order of protection here or injunction against harassment hearing that he has an attorney in Deandra. So what do you mean? Can we just like get on the same page, at least with video evidence?
I think they excluded that case from this fees list, correct?
They did, but that doesn't mean that they can't say he doesn't have an attorney. He clearly has.
He had an attorney since at least November 2nd is the point.
It's just those fees won't be included in this document.
No, they won't be included. But my point in general is that he's saying this, that, and the other as far as like he didn't even retain counsel until such and such a date. And he's just completely wrong. Not having to do with fees at all.
Right. Yeah.
Just and then he's like, and then a flurry of motions were filed immediately, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, that's what happens when you go from pro se to coming up with a game plan with a really good attorney.
I would also like to file a motion for Dingus to take a reading comprehension test because I feel like he seems to miss a lot of stuff and doesn't seem to understand stuff that was written on a normal scale.
He doesn't understand the full concept of things. I also consider part of it, like there was some motion that he submitted a while back that was taking something that Clayton had said or a previous victim had said in a deposition and literally like, he was like, oh, and I rest my case. This is exactly what I was talking about. This makes my point, blah, 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 but didn't continue listening to what he said past that. And he had literally like, oh, it was Mike Maricini's deposition.
Maricini's depo, yeah.
And like, literally, I was just like, sir, like it's like with golf, right? In order to hit the ball the correct way, you have to have a follow through. He did not complete the assignment by following through.
Okay.
Well,
this is around 321. Let's see. Email with Planned Parenthood after reviewing records not matching claims from Laura. It sucks that he has to pay for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's all part in the judge's order that this is frivolous, is the fact that this woman can't even tell him where she quote unquote went to a doctor.
Yeah. That in and of itself, even if she had gone somewhere else, like her giving the false information cost him money. So
I also want to just say, like, as someone with PCOS, I have a regular gyno, but I also have a regular endocrinologist to help me manage my other symptoms. Like, she's going to Planned Parenthood. It just none of it adds up. Like, none of it at all. Like, you would have a regular doctor, like not some random Planned Parenthood person. Like, is it a regular practice? I didn't think it was.
None of the doctors seems regular except for maybe the neurologist. I think there was something about that.
The neurologist that she never saw.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that. But there were 34 pages of cancellations and like appointments and cancellations.
Well, I still have a theory that part of that 44 pages may have been the neurology notes being sent to the OB, which would, if someone really had the conditions that she purportedly has said she has, you would have your neurologist send that information to an OBGYN. So
I'm not even convinced that she has epilepsy or any other.
I'm not. Yeah. I never have been.
I mean, I think she definitely has both of her ovaries, but I do think that they have giant HCG producing cysts on them or something.
I like the idea that Megan Fox came up with, that her mom stands outside the bathroom window with a giant bucket of horse piss. She just gets the pregnancy test in.
I think Tug said, it was either Tug or Omar said, like, that there's like a horse waiting outside the window of the bathroom. Like, she rides the horse there to, pee on the stick, and then either way is pretty good.
Okay, so here on Easter weekend, I reviewed numerous emails from David Chingris over Easter weekend. Did they get time and a half for that?
I guess remember
that.
Oh my God, he expected a response right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least now learning that Woodnick's Jewish, I don't feel so bad about the Easter emails.
Well, yeah, but Deandra isn't.
Yeah.
And their other lawyers.
But still, a holiday is a holiday, and
emails regarding new publication from Gingras. That's blog posts. I wish they would just put blog posts.
So regarding Easter, I'm pretty sure that Passover started Passover started right after that. So that would also be a Jewish holiday, by the way, a high holy one. So
oh God.
Definitely.
Okay. 3 emails from David reviewed and staffed as. One was overtly threatening, called a bar council ethics hotline 1.2. First draft David, but we'll hold for ethics advice.
He had to call lawyers 911.
Jesus.
Telehealth for lawyers.
Yeah.
Emails from
You remember, that's when he was specifically mentioning Isabel and I'm sure that's when Woodnick contacted them, is when Isabel was being threatened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I almost forget about that because so much shit happened. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Isabel is another one of his victims, or her victims. They are victims. Are they the same person?
I think so.
Received and sent to client motion for lunch with comments.
Oh, boy. Yeah. There's some interesting stuff in here.
Consult regarding how to respond to emails from opposing counsel without escalation. God.
Yep.
That's so sad.
How many conferences do you think they had on this situation in the war room?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
How many lunches with margaritas do you think they had?
These redacted ones are interesting.
Yeah. Email blank regarding concerns OC escalation. What does that mean?
I think OC is opposing counsel. So he's basically saying David Gingras is escalating. Okay. So he's emailing and calling with someone, which I think is very interesting because he doesn't want them to know who that was.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing too, right? Like Gingras said that Mike wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah.
Like Mike literally told you what he was going to say. And then also like you threatened him and you said a lot of like nasty crap and released his private deposition and all that. Like, why would he want to talk to you? Why would Greg Woodnick, after being threatened, want to have lunch with you? Why would Isabel Rainey even want to have lunch with you? Sir, no one wants to have lunch with you because you're a terrible person.
Well, this still goes with my theory that I think Gingras, whatever his name is, I think he knew he couldn't win this case in this situation. I still think his plan was to be just complete chaos so that everyone's like, we don't want to sue her for defamation because if he's her attorney again, this is going to not be worth it. That everyone's just
she won't be able to afford him. I agree with Big Tiff and Meg, like when they went through her whole financial like history regarding the properties and stuff. Like I have this feeling that she really doesn't have a whole lot going on money wise.
Well, technically, she doesn't even own that Airbnb because it's owner financed.
What does she own? Just her lies. No, wait, she doesn't own.
What about Whisper? Don't forget Whisper.
Oh boy.
Oh, poor Whisper.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna get through some of these because we're only in April still. So hold on.
Oh my God.
Reviewed email staff with IR. Email from Gingras with disclosure that we already have regarding ultrasound and their expert. Email for Gingras with still no metadata and his
Yeah.
comment, as such, I do not plan on responding to further questions about the photos since any additional discovery into that issue is not proportional to the needs of this case. All right.
Yeah, you won't give up the metadata.
Okay. If I miss anything substantial, just let me know. I'm kind of skimming right now. Okay. Email from Gingras, full staff with DA and IR. Email to blank attorney regarding perceived threats. When they say blank attorney, is that like, do you think that's like Corey or do you think it's somebody else's attorney? Is it like maybe.
I have a feeling Woodneck consulted an attorney on his behalf in case this became a bar issue. I'm going to guess that he brought in another attorney to consult.
Yeah.
To protect his interests.
See, I was thinking like when Lauren was saying that maybe like he was talking to Lexi Linval or something because she had that bar complaint against her as well.
Yeah.
That could be.
Don't try to like trick a pregnant woman into thinking you're pregnant. That's so stupid. Like, Jesus Christ.
There he
poor
goes.
Lexi. She
425.
deserves better.
Stuff, things Laura sent to Dave Neal. That's interesting.
Email to journalist Dave Neal, who apparently received records from Mello for copies of same.
That's the Fiverr. Oh no!
Reviewed more docs regarding tampered medical records. Note to Stormy, who says records are hers. That's the mom of the boy that Dave is raising funds for the birthday party, right?
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But her name is Sam. Shh.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, hang on.
It was already out there.
I feel so bad for her.
Me too.
Yeah, looking for what, May 9th or something?
Was it like already May 6th when they did that John Berryhill thing? God, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, it was barely within the timeline to get
They
into
had to get
evidence.
it in by the 10th, right?
Yeah, it was very late. Yeah.
But they did it.
There's the 9th.
AM calls regarding new tweet from Gingras that upset witness Michael Marcini. Email from David, staff with team. Email to David regarding posting. Reviewed more disclosure and email from Gingras regarding disclosure and continuance. Note to Gingras. So that's what they were telling me to look for, right?
Oh, this other one's weird. Look at this 510.
2 emails from Gingras, one of which weirdly includes my name on text and no context. Full staffing with DA regarding developments, including these emails. Okay. This is the weirdest invoice I've ever seen.
Commentary.
Like, Deandra, look at these weird emails.
That'll be $400.
Accurate.
Oh man, hey, they're good attorneys, man. I think worth every penny.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Okay. I don't think there's anything too interesting here. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting timeline view of this case.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that will play into the Padlet.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in here that can be correlated.
No. Here's one.
We could line up charges and the dates that other things were happening, like corresponding.
Oh, I'm gonna message her and tell her she needs to do that.
I'm sure Haley's watching.
Email from Gingras where he attempts to bully Corey Keith into not filing a notice of candor.
Oh,
Staff
that's a good
IR
one.
and team. Email to Clayton regarding same.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
Okay, if there's anyone who has been her attorney that I'd like to see get a little too drunk at the local bar and just like spill, it's Corey Keith.
Oh my God,
sure.
yes.
100%.
I'm sure he's ready to. Oh my God, get the right bottle of mezcal. I'm sure that man will just.
Because he was there for all the depositions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That, he knows a lot. Yeah.
Well, and he stayed in the case the longest.
Yeah.
And
was
he
there
made
for quite a while.
excuses for her under perjurious, statements.
Not that he knew he was. I'm just saying, but
He was a little sketchy when he was like, "We may never know when miscarriages happen." I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Yeah,
think
but
he
if you recall, though, she and he were conferring before he answered.
right.
Because I don't think he knew how to answer that question. And then
Correct.
she whispers at him, and you can just tell by the way he delivered it. It's
Oh, yeah.
like, I can't believe I'm saying this.
He was kind of bullshitting a little bit. And I'm like, dude, we know
Yes.
you're bullshitting.
What the fuck is this? Okay, communicate with Clayton regarding new developments and the posting from Laura and Gingras immediately after our settlement conference, where Gingras sort of apologized for how things were handled early in the case, but then promptly posted this, similar to what happened with the postings of the picture of Mike Maricini.
Yep, I remember that. That's what set off Maricini when he did the whole thing with the photo of Maricini with Laura.
Was
Did
that
we read
on May
Did we
30th?
read the settlement one?
That's the settlement conference one.
No, there's one about how Gingras is trying to convince Laura to settle.
Oh no, I haven't seen that yet. Okay.
Karen says go back to 5.8. Maybe
Go back to 5.8.
did we miss it?
I thought he wouldn't let her settle for $1 million or whatever. Yeah, I think I skipped over to 5.9. Hang on. Email from Gingras staff and their response. Sat in on call with David.
Here it is.
David believes texts with Michael are likely real. Oh fuck!
Thank you, Karen.
Oh fuck!
And not the mama.
Laura is
likely
considering-
real. Sir, metadata does not lie. It is irrefutable evidence. This is not like an expert like thought or conjecture. Like this is literally like this is hard evidence that like DNA.
I think this is the most interesting line item in this document, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Laura is considering her own expert to review Michael's laptop. David is trying to get Laura to agree to a settlement, possibly an underlying mental health condition. Possibly. Okay. I don't diagnose, but there's something going on there, dude.
So
There's
is
something.
generally being evil and like a sadist, is that a mental health issue?
Ask me that again in a private message, and I'll answer that. But I will not.
Okay.
I will not speculate on stream.
I
but
shall.
I have
I'm
an opinion.
speculating on stream. I don't work in mental health, so I'm allowed to speculate all I want.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Say what you want. I don't control other people. You know what I mean? I just do what I do, and I refuse to do certain things. So.
Oh no, for sure. I was not like I was just.
No, I got you. You're good. Notes on same staff with GWDA. Okay, so we're going back to the 28th now. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's good we caught that one.
Experts coordinate called a prob. Nothing super special there. Not seeing anything too crazy there.
Who would have ever thought a lawyer bill would be so interesting?
Yeah, right. Okay, so this is where we left off. It was the email about Mike. Extensive review and edits of is it PTs or PTS? What does that mean?
Pre-trial statement.
Oh, right, okay. For appellate purposes, purposes, in light of comments from Gingras promising appeal. Jesus Christ. Wait, email from court staff with IR regarding media issue, notes of court and com with CL. What would that mean? Is that like, hold on, 5:30? That might have been when I had my request pushed through for the media thing.
Like he sort of apologized.
Yeah, right. I think this might be, and I can't say for sure. This might be when they informed the attorneys that there was a screening request.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on.
Watch out! They're gonna have scones.
The children
Chaos.
of stone.
Review. I don't see anything too crazy here. Reviewed Corey Keith's notice per 3.3. I saw Corey Keith in Notebook and my brain automatically went to, you have his diary? Please give
Can
it
you
to me.
imagine?
Dude, I
Fair
wish.
trial.
I just really hope if there's a criminal trial that it's not in summer.
Mm.
Right?
Please do it in winter.
Either way, I'll be there.
Call with court security and staff
And
regarding
we're-
options in light of Gingras' letter. Email to all regarding arrest comment. Research regarding statute regarding witness intimidation and revision to letter. So he definitely knew that he should not call the cops. Okay. Just to like poke one more hole in that little situation. He definitely knew ahead of time because they talked about it apparently a lot.
Do you think,
like I said, it was just his chaos plan.
Mm-hmm.
do you think he's going to face consequences for being the harbinger of chaos in this situation? But
No, I have no faith in
legal
that.
ways.
Mm-mm.
Probably not. But it pisses me off. We're talking about my tax dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly do think that he should be held in contempt and kicked off the internet.
Wow.
Just for good measure. I think she also needs to be kicked off the internet, to be fair. I think both of them should no longer have access to the internet. This is why we can't have nice things, kids.
Mm. Okay. Continue working on
Please,
that.
jail disbarment. Just don't take my internet away.
Not the Twitter!
I mean, you won't survive.
Reviewed sub-filing from Gingras, which seems to malignantly claim Clayton, Michael, or I faked 2,500 pages of records as basis for rejection.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, they're all together at a little backroom factory. Let's make this up. Let's make that up.
Oh, God.
Oh, a mess.
Projection.
Again, you cannot create metadata out of nowhere. Metadata is metadata.
Email from Gingras, staff with team regarding allegations against court for impropriety. That was on 6/17, so a week after trial. And then this was when the ruling was.
That would be, when Matta put her ruling out, because the rulings always show to the attorneys the business day before it's public record.
Yeah. Well, that was crazy.
That was the best bill I've ever seen. I still think it could have been higher.
Yeah.
I wonder
think
if they billed for the copious amounts of tequila and vodka that were required.
I'm sorry, I heard tequila.
I don't know.
Stop reading the comments. What?
I wonder if they billed for all the tequila and vodka and scotch and whatever that was required.
Eric Capaldi says he thought that she had mental health issues and continued to exploit her. So that's interesting.
I mean, for the media office, we just invited Teresa. That took care of the booze bill.
Oh my God. Teresa was on here last night, I think. Or she was in the comments, at least.
My opinion is a completely unprofessional, I don't work in mental health opinion, is that she doesn't have mental health issues aside from just generally having narcissistic traits and being an evil person and a sadist. So I don't think there's really anything to exploit there, to be honest.
The people that I work with, people who have been doing this for decades, like way longer than I have, would see this and be like, "You're full of shit."
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's my idea there.
Well, here's the thing. As much as we can try to understand why she's doing this, we're never going to understand because none of us have brains that function in this way.
Yeah.
Right.
Just simply I think most of us know someone who's faked a pregnancy. That's not that uncommon.
I don't think I do, but I will say that that's not uncommon because, well, I don't know anyone personally, but I've seen patients who do it a lot.
I don't know anyone.
I know people that have done it, and it's not that rare, but to go to this level and go to this amount, none of us can wrap our brains around that, and we're never going to. And I think that's the question that keeps us so intrigued with this, is we just want to know why. But we're probably never going to.
We'll never know what's happening in her head, but I do feel as though she, right from the beginning, like whenever she started doing all this in the first place, is just desperate for other people to believe her lies. Like she wants to create a reality a fakeality, and just like have her victims kind of like believe her and buy into it. Because I don't know if you noticed, but like in the beginning, in her emails that were coming out, she's like, I knew you wouldn't believe me. And she said this to all three of them that we've read their emails for. I knew you wouldn't believe me, so I included this, this, and this, or I knew this, and you won't believe me because of this, and blah, blah, blah. Believe me. No, because you lie about literally everything. That's why no one believes you, babe. Also, you don't know what pregnancy is.
Think about how quickly she turned off Omar on the whole situation with just her email. Like, he picked up on that faster than anyone. I'm like, dang, he and Reality Steve, we need to make them a team to like vet information, because both of them just glopped real fast that it was all bullcrap.
I would watch that series.
Yeah. I'm so happy. The tilted reality. Boom. You're welcome.
I love it.
I'm so happy now Steve has a YouTube, and he can hop on with breaking news if he receives it too now. So
yeah, that's
great.
Yeah, I missed the last one, but I saw the first one, so it was good.
And he was so nice to talk to in person. Most of our conversation had nothing to do with this case. We talked about other matters. It's just like, he's just down to earth and just so calm about everything. Sure. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was sitting behind him in the media van, mobile or SUV thing. He's a really nice guy. He's a cool dude.
Guys, I can't remember if I read this already. The thing about the GoFundMe's should not specifically be listed for legal fees, so we're not subsidizing Laura's bill. Jasmine Winters, thank you for the 5. Thank you again if I already read that, but I always forget if I've read it or not. So,
I don't think you had, and I agree. I do think that the GoFundMe, I think that it didn't apply to this.
Yeah, they said that was the order of protection and IH cases.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's applied to those fees, which is fair enough.
Well, since they didn't get included in the case, it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, it is getting late here, and it's already been an hour and a half, so I'm going to have to cut it tonight. But next stream, guys, I'm not sure if it'll be tomorrow or Thursday. We will talk about what would happen if there was a retrial, and like what could come up that didn't come up last time that you think should have. So hopefully we will get to do that pretty soon. Thanks everyone for coming tonight and joining us and giving your comments. And I will see everyone soon. You guys can stick around for a second. I'm going to hit the end button, but don't leave yet. Thank you, chat. Appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.